Hello and welcome back here on my English YouTube channel about my Lego City project called Brick World. And in today's update, I got a package from my friends from Stone Heap. It's the BR193 A16 Siemens Vectron Locomotive. It's one of the first sets. You can buy it in their shop. And I got that very well designed, that very well scaled locomotive for today's update. And I'm really looking forward to add that to my city. So stay tuned for today's big locomotive update. Right at the beginning, let's just have a look into the instructions. It's like everybody else. You can see it in any other company like Lego, Funhole, whatever. It's a very well designed set, but you have a lot of parts. You have a little bit to look into it because you have no numbered bags, but that's no big problem. It's a very great set with great colors, very great techniques. It's a little bit hard to build if you're not familiar with complex instructions or complex building systems. So just have a look here how I'm starting building it. You have very well different colors here, a lot of blue colors, because on the side we are adding the design of that locomotive. It's a Swiss locomotive. It's a brick built design on the side. As you can see here, these mountains here are brick built, very interesting techniques. Just the text on the right side, the SBB Cargo International, that's a sticker coming up later, but it's a lot of stuff. As you can see here, we're just building that 2 times because the locomotive is, like symmetrical. So I started the other part here, and now we can just switch the right part, add it on the other side, and there's going to be a plate in the middle connecting it, and then we can start working, building up all the missing parts in the middle part. But at the beginning, we're just building 2 times that front part because, as I said, it's a very symmetrical build. Building it up, you can see there's a lot of details, like often, if you know the channel, you might know that I'm often using instructions from my friends from Stone Heap. You have a lot of instructions for different locomotives, wagons, stuff like that, and very well designed, using a lot of parts, very interesting building techniques, and also they're using the same techniques and that in one of the first sets here. In the middle, you can see that's a built up part. It's like for a battery box. There's no battery box included, but the set is prepared to be used with battery box and stuff like that. By the way, here you can see the brick builded mountain stuff. It's a very interesting technique. At the moment, it's just laying here. It's being connected later on, but it's very, very interesting. As you can see here, these mountains are brick builded and a lot of interesting techniques, knot techniques. As you can see, here's a real image of that locomotive. And I think it's very well designed. It's very well transferred from the real world into that, Lego world. Putting it on the top, you can see how it looks on the lower side. It's very well detailed. And as you can see here, it's prepared for adding some electricity to make it movable by different kinds of possible ways to let that locomotive drive. It's a little bit movable, of course, to get it through the more bigger or smaller corners, of course. But by the way, it's a very big locomotive, so you really need big curves, not these little curves you get from Lego. That's how it looks on the top. It's done for now, and it's a lot of parts. You can see the sticker here, the SBB Cargo International. It's a very well designed set. It's very good looking, but as I said before, it's not easy to build it up because there's some interesting techniques, some complex techniques, but at the end you get a very well designed model of that SBB Cargo International locomotive. Now I think it's time to put it on our train tracks to see how it looks on the train tracks in my brick world. Some final views here from the side. As you can see here, it's very interesting technique. There's a lot of slopes and different angles. But at the end, if you go a little bit away from the locomotive, you can see how well designed these brick-built mountains in that design look. Coming to my city, I added it now into my station. You can see here the official Lego set. You can see some other stuff here, like the ICE3 in the backside. And here's the new locomotive standing here next to the platform. As you can see, the size, the scale is very well fitting to my city. It's movable, of course. It's a little bit heavy. I think it's more than 1 kilo. So if you want to motorize it, you really need a good motor to let that really drive fast enough. Even considering if you want to add some wagons, that's something we're going to add in the future updates. Because I'm still working at the digitalization of my city and my trains. So some big part, if you're going back one video, you see how I started with adding the signals into the Z21 app, doing all the digitalization work. But let some trains move in the digitalized world is something, it's a very big part coming up. I don't know if I still can get it working in that year or next year, but just some final views for today's update here, how the new locomotive is standing here next to the elementary school. Just added these two wagons here behind it, so you might have an impression how it might look in the future when that locomotive is driving around in the brick world, moving some wagons. And by the way, the locomotive, as you can see here, is used in real life for not only for passengers but also for goods. So it's locomotive used for both, you can say worlds or parts. And I really like how these new colors add some new parts of color into the world, because near the train tracks, everything is a little bit gray and not so happy colored. And adding these blue and red colors, I really like that is some new color stuff here. By the way, coming back to the topic of digitalization of the brick world, as you might know, one of the next updates might be an update about adding all the missing signals. Last time we worked at these two signals as a kind of prototype. Now we have these 6 other signals. That's something I really want to do not so far away in the future, adding the possibility to really control all of these 8 signals on that side of the train station, so we really can go on my work with the digitalization. Here's the ICE3, you saw it a moment ago. There's just the first locomotive at the moment. I'm going to add more stuff, more wagons, the ending locomotive. In future updates, I hope so. But I really want to get forward with that train and train station stuff here. We really need to finish the train station building inside. There's some stuff missing. And then at the end, there's going to be the very big problem with adding the dome on top of it. I'm still thinking about it, how to do it. But that's something I really hope to do until the end of the year. Another topic I really need to add is digitalization and the possibility to let the switches work with the Z21 app. So we have a lot of switches here. All of them, by the way, are from Trixbricks. And at the moment, you just have to move them per hand. And that's something, it's not a good idea later on, especially when there are a lot of trains are driving. So we need to add some servo motors under the table controlling the switches. And that's something I really want to do in a not so far away future. But that's it for today. Just some final views here from the new locomotive. As always, feel free to write whatever you think about today's updates and all the other stuff I said today in today's update. And then we can see what's coming up in the next update. Until then, stay tuned and bye.